Hello everyone, I'm Nesbit and you're the People of Skyrim. Okay, so as the title says, this is about the myth busting. I wasn't really aware of that people talked about TPOS in this way until quite recently. Getting an Xbox and be involved more with Xbox users, seeing Xbox videos. I also caught a few comments from others on PC. So you know, this is a video really that's the first help video and video about what TPOS is and what it's not, and in relation to what you can use and what you can't. Now let me start by saying for Xbox and PC users there's no issues with using any texture with the People of Skyrim unless a particular mod clashes with TPOS within its texture pack, because I don't actually add textures per se, like ground textures or grass and grass textures and things like that. But what I do have are resource files. Everything in TPOS is vanilla except for the resource files that I add. And what I mean by resource files, these are files that other mod authors have created for mod authors to use. So on the Nexus you'll go there and you can look at the resource page, and there'll be mods there for tapestries, which people like me, a mod maker, can use to fill out the inns, homes, and other aspects of my mod. But fundamentally, first and foremost, TPOS is basically vanilla, except for those files that I talk about, and a couple of them cross over with a couple, you know, some of the base files, maybe for, let's say for an example, the sawmills, the wood textures may cross over with the game files, but most of the files that I use, like the horse statue, are unique file types, so they're very unlikely to be clashing with any texture mods that retexture the Skyrim vanilla files. And if you look at the example on this video, I mean, you know, this video that I've made is about, and my game is about 98% retextured, you know, except for a few things, hair being one of them, because I'm not so bothered about modding the hair of my characters unless I go female and do a female character, and then I get some hair textures in. So the point is, if there is a clash between any mod, it's you know, it's gonna, you know, a texture mod, then it's gonna clash with one of my resource files, and all that means is a fix or an edit, is like a patch is required to deal with that conflict. So for when people say that you can't run textures or graphical mods with the People of Skyrim, basically they're talking out of their arse. You know, that's crap. The testers for Xbox run all texture mods, and there's only one texture mod to date that clashes with my work, and that's not even TPOS, that's the Morthor Ages mod. My guess is it's probably clashing with, again, one of the resource, well, it is clashing with one of the resource files that I've added, and the resource files in that mod are few and far between. They're Matthys fishes, a resource file, and a couple other resource files for food and clay pots, stuff like that. I think, again, Matthys stuff. So the conflict will be within those files, because the only scripts that I add, let's get to scripts basically, are default vanilla scripts, and they're the carrying wood script for those people that carry wood that I've created. They're the enable stage on script, the DLC1 enable on script, which is for enabling enemies after certain quests have been reached, and enable all and enable, for example, there, you know, those scripts are for triggers when you pass through an area, say like now in this video, and I hit a trigger and it enables enemies. And those are the only things I use. TPOS is kept very simple in many ways. And like I say, the only textures that I use are from the resource files, and those are the things that will clash occasionally and rarely with other textures. As you can see, like I say, from this video on PC, the amount of textures I use and the size of textures from 4K to 2K is insane. I use most of Luxor's work. I use a lot of Noble's work. Skyrim's John Rose, his forts I've turned to it, especially with the making of Solitude, because they really suit the feel that I wanted with the castle. Oh, sorry, the fort components in the Solitude area. But if we get to XP in comparison to PC, yeah, of course, there's always a tipping point with the People of Skyrim, because it's a big mod, and as my testers have informed me, you know, you can't run all that you maybe want to run because of the amount that TPOS does. For example, you've got road travelers which will drain your resources, and bigger and more spawns. So thought has to be applied to how you mod if you're going to use TPOS on Xbox. But in saying that, you know, Sword of Truth and the team that test my mod for Xbox, you know, have tested it at the base level and have no issues with it. They use all textures, all graphical mods except for one. It's a which clashes with, like I say, not with the TPOS, even with Morthor, and it's a mod that edits the textures. It's Raven Rock. Oh God, I had it written down and I've lost a bit of paper, but I put it in the description. So all their testing, the only graphical issues they've had is with one mod. So, you know, again, if you hear people saying you can't graphically edit the People of Skyrim, and again, I'll just say quite simply and quite bluntly, they're talking out of their arse, and they just show their own ignorance and lack of gaming knowledge. But again, you know, from my perspective and what I've learned in these 9 years or so, whatever it is, gaming, really is, you know, that people do want to kick out and lash out when they put a lot of hours into a game and it doesn't go right, and they want to blame someone in something, but that doesn't help at the end of the day, you know, either. I mean, and again, I acknowledge as well, it's a bit harder for Xbox users because they don't have the resources PC users have. But then that's why it's important that porters or mod makers, you know, make sure they do the best job they possibly can. It was one of my deepest frustrations for years with Xbox, never being able to see what was going on. And really, you know, I think to myself, I should have left it. But then if I'd left it, it would have never have happened, because it was Xbox users that came to my rescue, so to speak, and provided me with the resources to now see how TPOS is on Xbox. It's good. It's good from, you know, from the testers and people that have used it for a long time and know what they're doing on Xbox. It's good. And I'm going to say now, for Xbox users, I am going to lighten TPOS. Now I know what I'm looking at, what I'm dealing with. I can make it more performance friendly, because you can run TPOS with graphics and with many mods on its own, and it's okay. But of course there are limitations because the Xbox doesn't have the juice that the PC does. And now I understand those limitations, and I can see in what areas I can make things better for Xbox users. I will make a lighter version for those that want it, but not as so much in the content or in the exploration, but just maybe in the road travelers and in my add-on mods, where I'll reduce texture sizes. So that will be for the near future. We're still going to finish off the testing. The patches or whatever are all being tested as well. Most of them are done now, and they're fine. Regardless, you know, if you're, let me just say, with the patches for Xbox, if you're using just the patch in the mod, the patches are made for, the mods that the patches are used for, you've got no issues. They've been tested, they work fine. If you follow the load order advice for the mods and the patch, and as I say, it'll work well. I mean, you know, if you're applying other mods, other patches, or you're not running your load order as you need to, then yeah, you're going to get issues. But if you base test with just the patch and the mod, you'll see that they're fine, that they work absolutely fine. If mods get updated, I need to know about it because I need to update the patch possibly. For example, Winterhold Winterhold Restore didn't update a few days ago. I just put a patch out before it updated, but I rechecked, it seemed okay. So there you go. So, you know, as I said, this series of mods for Xbox and PC, because I know they're different beasts, but there aren't many variations. Only in the way that you run your load order. The mods that you can run are the same, with occasionally a few exceptions. If there's clashes between TPOS and a texture mod, or TPOS and a monster mod, for example, Ethereal Monsters. Most of those are okay, but I am aware that one of those mods, the spawns clash with my spawns, and it causes a crash to desktop on PC. Random crashes. And that's the one with the ice monster with the tree out of its back. I can't remember what that one's called now. So yeah, but that's nothing wrong with that individual mod or my mod. It's just that when they're put together, they clash. So a patch would need to be made. And that doesn't, make either mod a bad mod. It just means that they have conflicts that need resolution. It's that simple. I mean, a lot of the times you listen to what people say about mods and they're talking bullshit. I'm not just defending my mod here. I'm defending other mods because, I find it quite comical. And that's why I refer to ignorance, and I will use that word freely because it's ignorance. And you're doing a disjustice to yourself and to the mod makers. If there's a genuine issue, then contact the mod author. And hopefully you can find common ground and work it out. He can sort it out if he thinks the issue's there. I mean, I'll give you an example. I had someone on PC ask me about a lighting problem, more than just the odd flicker, something like that, saying they had a major issue. And I answered them in the bug section. I tested TPOS at the baseline. I tested it with my patches again, and I picked up on a couple of chandeliers that turned on off. That's hence for the current updates. Also Sky Heavy and Temple, there was where we're now, where there was a flicker here where I am now, so I've adjusted that. The testers told me about that. So yeah, you report it or whatever. But even after I answered this guy twice and then a third time, he seemed to think it was his right that I should have a conversation about his problem. Well, I'd already answered him and given him. That was a light turning on, which was part of the script that you just saw with the home coming in. That light, you just saw a light literally come on because that's me hitting the trigger that enabled the mannequins and all the rest of it. And these mannequins don't walk around. They move on their pedestals. It's a bit freaky, really. I don't like that. I admit, I really don't like that. But they don't walk around. And that's another thing with testers. And I know, and there are some tips to that. The mannequins won't move in your homes. If you're making a mod, your mannequins won't move if you place them on the right axis and if you nav mesh them so they can't walk. So I always put a little square of nav mesh at the bottom of their feet, and then the nav mesh is broken between them and where it starts again for the rest of the cell. And that's the way of dealing with that. But again, when you're testing your mod, if they're walking around, you need to change the axis that they're on within I think that's the right terminology, where you are placing them within the grid of the home and the abode that you're building. Because my mannequins don't move. They won't walk around. Again, well tested and confirmed by testers on PC and on Xbox. But I was just showing you that Skyhaven Temple because most people don't know about that, I don't think. There's a lot of elements people don't know about the People of Skyrim because it takes a whole gameplay to explore and find them all. And I don't write up about all that I do and all that I put in the game, because it's supposed to be an adventure. It's supposed to get you playing the game again. But again, like I say, this first video is about talking about graphical issues and whether or not you can run graphical mods. Well, you can clearly see that you can. You know, on Xbox, on PC, there are no issues whatsoever. And I'm just thinking about what else I want to say now. But for Xbox users, again, you know, what you do have to be is mindful about how much you use, because sometimes less is more. And I take that in regards to PC, because even though I've got the juice that I could run more, I don't. What I want first and foremost from my game, and we all want different things from our game, is a game that looks damn good and performs well. So my biggest thing for my game is textures, and the other thing is shouts, magic, some AIs, well, I'm sorry, idols, sorry, things like that, you know, stuff like that. What else? There's other stuff, you know, good trees, good LODs, but it's about how it looks and how it feels and how it performs. In terms of, there's a lot of mods I could use with the People of Skyrim, but I don't, because TPOS does enough for me in that regard without heavy scripts. And that's what I try to avoid more than anything, is mods with lots of scripts, because they are the ones that can cause the game the most issues the quickest, in my experience. So, you know, I have footprints. I do like to use, if I really want to toughen the game up, I will use a survival mod as well. But like I say, except for immersive citizens and the other mods that are named that you can't use, you can use plenty of mods in the world. You can mod plenty of towns and cities. You can do shitloads with the People of Skyrim, graphically, in terms of towns, villages and hamlets, in terms of other types of AI mods, bandit mods, you know, quest mods. There, you know, there's a lot you can do. The only thing that holds you back is how much juice you have. And for Xbox users, that is an issue, and I respect that and I understand that. And in the future, I will address that for you. But to say, if you hear people say you cannot use textures with the People of Skyrim, they are talking shite. You can. You can use plenty. All right. Like I say, I'll keep improving on the mod. That's the point, because this mod TPOS2 is the mod of the future, and all the hamlets and towns and cities that I build, that will be merged into one file, which will be the backbone for my questing version. So I've got a long way to go and a lot of work still to do. But like I say, if you come across things and you want to be nice about it, have a chat, and maybe accept that, you know, you may not be right, and or we might have to adapt, and we might not be right, and you can be reasonable and fair and mature. You're welcome to talk to me on the Discord, Xbox users or PC users, you know. But like I said, what I don't want is egotistical assholes coming my way. I've had enough of those. It's one of the reasons I'm doing things differently in terms of shutting my comments for the best part, shutting bugs, because TPOS is well tested now. I know what is what. My team will find most other things they've you know, most of what they found has only been statics. You know, so as I said, TPOS has been stable for a long time. It's statics or hay, clipping, things like that have needed an adjustment. I've been around a long time, this mod's been around a long time, and it works well. It's a good mod. It just, you know, a bit of tidying up, and the future build and the constant testing and the constant support will make it an even better mod. And so I thank my testers over on our Discord, Sword and her crew. I thank the users too, who use my stuff and who support me, whether that's Patreon or other, or just, you know, give me a thumbs up or a vote. Thank you. All those count and make a difference to my day. So I thank you all as well, and for those of you who do like my work, I'm glad you do. I'm glad you get something from it, and I hope you continue to do so, and you continue to enjoy it, and I'll continue to make the best mods I can and improve on those that are already made. And these are hard times, I know. We've got a lot of shit going on in the world, and I hope wherever you are, you're safe, you're well, and you're doing good. And if you want to support the people of Skyrim, feel free to do so. Like I say, whether that's with votes, Patreon, or in any other way that you can. But like I said, probably the biggest message here, I think, is about adapting the mod now a little bit more for Xbox, so it's more user friendly, so it provides the Xbox user with a bit more juice. And like I say, you can use textures. This is enhanced lights and FX, and this is PC, and I'm not using the darker version enhancer patch from FX. You do on Xbox, because there's a little flicker there I just saw. I'll have to adjust that, because on PC now, PC users should be able to use just my patch with enhanced lights and FX, or the darker versions as well, so they got more choice. For Xbox users, you have to use the enhancer patch for darker ins. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But all the details are on the patch page. Yeah, and there's still a few tweaks. This is without the patch. With the darker versions, it all works fine. I thought I tested, but I just noticed a little. Does it do it again? No, it doesn't. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. It's only a small thing, but again, that is my work. Most of my work now is just small things, tidying a few things up. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and I know how to build now, and build in a stable way. It's one of the reasons I don't overload. The only issues that affect us, Xbox users, PC users, are the bugs in the base game. And there's been more in the last year or so, especially since the drive with CC content and whatever the hell Bethesda are doing. You can see videos on the base game tests that I did about 6 months ago, when I picked up, because I was chasing my tail thinking it was my mods, I was going mental. But then I realised, and I did about 2 weeks base testing of the base game, and I picked up on so much stuff there which affects both Xbox and PC users, and mods that aren't updated, and mods that even are. Solitude is an area, Morthor is another area of contention. There's little things I've noticed, and many other places. The Wanderer, the Bard Wanderer, in certain areas near Helgen is an issue. There's lots of little things I picked up on, which makes it's very difficult for mod authors and mod makers as well. So there's so much one has to take into consideration when they're having issues with their game, because, you know, sometimes it's not even the user or necessarily the mod maker. You know, the issue stems from the base game, and one of the biggest, you know, I built, for me, Solitude for me in many ways has been a disaster because of the base game errors there. Because again, it took me so long to build that mod, and I still had to adapt it at the very end because of the in-game errors with NPCs. It's so noticeable if you know what you're looking for, and it's not necessarily them or their packages, it's because they're very simple, and they've, you know, I think there's something far more going on. It's part of the it's quest related. And I won't go into all the ins and outs because I'm nearly out of time now, and this video is almost done. And I expect many of you are thinking, thank God for that, if you've listened that far, because I have gone on a bit. But I hope what I've said has been useful, and you find it interesting. And like I say, TPOS and all its mods will be improved upon, built upon, and we will have a questing version coming out very, very soon. And this temple is part of that quest. Every aspect, most of what you see from the People of Skyrim 2 will be quest related. The NPCs will all be, they'll be less generic. The ones that aren't either trainers or traders now, many will be involved on smaller quests, and there'll be so much going on. Like I said, there's still so much I want to achieve and do, and I hope you enjoy what I've put out, and I intend to make it better for you Xbox users, and continue to improve for PC users as well. I'm Nesbit. You're the People of Skyrim. Good gaming, folks.